Hey guys, we're looking at what I think is the only Jim Gordon that McFarlane has released so far. And so while we are going to look at how he looks compared to the other two releases of him, the main thing that we're going to actually talk about is why you need to get him before it's too late. So stick around and we're going to get right into it. Here's the box. Here's the back. Nothing really special. The picture's taken directly from the comic books, so it's pretty straightforward. All right, let's open it up. And here we have Jim Gordon as Batman. If you don't know, Batman was missing, and so the Gotham PD decided to create their own Batman. So this is a fully kind of police department Batman. This isn't anything to do with Bruce Wayne or anything like that. As far as the figure goes, it's pretty standard McFarlane figure in terms of the articulation. It's very similar to the Superboy body, and it doesn't really have too much on there that might obstruct articulation at all. This thing is actually connected just here, and the leg itself can still kind of twist and move around, so that's not really going to prevent you from articulating too much. And even if we come up, you can see that this is moving to the side so that you can do whatever level of articulation that you want. Same with moving a bit back. And it's kind of nice because, you know, it moves kind of naturally the way you would expect it to. So unlike the other two, where with this one, they didn't even get it to the side, it's just like a straight up belt. And then that one, they did get it to the side, but they don't have it attached to what is supposed to be the holster. Then, you know, this is kind of more accurate in that way. As far as accessories go, by default, he comes with two gripping hands specifically for guns. He comes with a pair of fists, two kind of throwing hands, and then we got a pointing hand and a thumbs up, which is really cool to see. I like that. It's really different. We also get his gun. It is nice. I like it. My problem is that I don't like the battering or grappling bat or whatever that's supposed to be attached to this. I would have preferred either that this connects to it or that it doesn't exist at all, because the other problem with this is that his pouch is a pouch and not a holster the way it's supposed to be, like we see with the other two figures. So that's a huge disappointment for me. I'm really not happy about that, especially considering how good this one is so far. The one nice thing that we do have though is this really nice civilian head. And let's go to do a comparison against the other civilian head. And this one is from the DC Multiverse line before McFarlane took it over. So this one is from Mattel, and then this one is obviously the McFarlane one. And this one looks really good. I'll try to find a comic version that you can see side by side with this one. But even if it's not totally comic accurate, it's just a good looking head. It's really well designed. And what's really cool is that you can actually see that the hair is actually a separate piece from the head, which is not totally typical for McFarlane. That's a really common thing for Hasbro, but for McFarlane, it's usually just a whole head as one mold, and then everything is just painted the color that it's supposed to be. And I find that when the hair is a separate piece, that it all just kind of like looks a lot better. So that's really nice. The Mattel one isn't too bad. I think they did a pretty decent job overall, but I think the McFarlane one just is so much better. Now, the other critical thing about the McFarlane one is the bat symbol itself, and this one I would say by far is the most accurate of all three. Here is our Mattel one for comparison first, and while the Mattel one's not too bad, I think they came a little bit too low. Had they kept it up just a bit more, then it wouldn't have been as bad for the bottom part, I mean. And the other problem I think is that they just had a lot less space to work with, so that might be part of why it kind of ended up the way it did as opposed to the McFarlane version. And this one is from the DC Icons line, and while the figure itself actually looks really good, the bat symbol, first of all, is really inaccurate, unless that's a particular one that I'm just not aware of. Maybe that's a certain artist that just did it this way for some reason, but I prefer this one since this is kind of like the initial one that we see Gordon have. We still have the side symbol, which is kind of like, you know, what we see on an officer's uniform, so that's really cool to see. And otherwise, the DC Icons one isn't bad in the way it looks. I actually really like the head, for example. I think that looks really cool, but the articulation on the DC Icons is actually really poor, I would say. Now, there is another version of Jim Gordon Batman. I think it's a platinum one where it's a slight blue instead of the black, although the black one is the accurate one. The blue's cool, but really I'm more in it for the accurate appearance, so I'm pretty happy with this one. If I can get the blue one, then I will, but I'm not gonna go super crazy about getting it. Now, the reason why you really want to get this is because of Rookie. Now, as you can see, both of our other Gordons do have his Rookie robot suit thing companion, but our McFarlane one doesn't. Now, it's not a guarantee that McFarlane's gonna make one, but there's a really good chance of it because we know McFarlane loves Batman, and you know, who doesn't want a giant robot Batman thing, right? And if we're keeping to scale, then there's a fair chance that it's gonna be, you know, this big or bigger, and maybe even be like part of like the mega scale line. I wouldn't put it past McFarlane to make an even bigger suit than that one. And just so you can see a little comparison of the two rookie figures, they do both have the option to look like Gordon is inside piloting, because if you're unaware, in the comic books, this is both a suit that he can wear in combat in, and it also acts as its own like AI robot thing that can assist him as well. The downside to this one is that you do have to pop the head off of the Gordon Batman just to complete the look for this one. And this one over here actually has an additional thing where you can pop that out, so it looks like he's gonna get into it in order to pilot it. So that's cool to have. So I'm really hoping that McFarlane does at least that much, if not even more, because I think the articulation of this one isn't so great either. So the gist of what I'm saying is, get your Gordon Batman now before McFarlane releases the rookie, because there's not a guarantee that any more of the Gordon Batmans are going to be out by the time that McFarlane releases this one, and you're definitely going to need this guy to go with that one. Now, I love these kinds of characters where it is supposed to represent our main character, but is their own, right? So that's why I love like Spider-Man 2099, Scarlet Spider-Man. I love this Batman. I love Batman Beyond. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you're going to get one. And otherwise, check out more Batman over here.